right. Hey there. This is Escape from Trucking, and I'm on my way to work. Can I turn the light on? Should I turn the light on? Is it even advisable for me to turn the light on? Alright, yeah, it looks fine. So come join me on my way to work. I don't typically, I have my uniform with me, so this is just a white undershirt. I'm not actually going to work looking like this. I will put my uniform on when I arrive at work. Golly, I don't know. Is there a way to... I don't know. I don't really know my GoPro well enough yet. So, anyway, I guess this will just have to do. This is Escape from Trucking, and I guess I just wanted to give you, the viewer, to the extent that you're even interested, I want to give you, the viewer, an update as to what is going on with me. I've had a change of plans in how to escape from trucking. Those who've been, the small, very small handful of people who've been following this channel may know, I have been studying and doing qualifying education to become a real estate appraiser, and it has been going very well. I had gotten in a grand total of I've gotten about 100 hours of study in, about 100 credit hours of study in, and took 4 exams, passed all of them, and was well on my way when something happened. Just to give you, the viewer, a little background on how you become a residential appraiser. You need a cumulative total of approximately 150 hours worth of qualifying education to become a licensed residential real estate appraiser, and that is culminated with an exam. And in addition to that, you need another 1,000 hours of practical experience to get that license, and that experience must be under the supervision of another appraiser. In other words, another appraiser has to agree to take you on and do their work with them under their supervision. That is typically the hardest part of becoming an appraiser, because most appraisers are not going to be willing to take you to do that, because there really isn't much for them to gain. Well, I decided that there was another program that was just introduced by the governing body of real estate appraisers, and it's the Appraisal Institute, and it was called PAREA, P-A-R-E-A, and it was a way to avoid that difficulty of having to have a supervisor, and instead you'd pay money and you'd join their program, and they would assign you a mentor, and you would do virtual appraisals. And that, coupled with your examination and 150 some hours of qualifying education, and you get your appraiser's license. That was what I was going to do. At first, that program cost about $4,500, which I have. I have a chunk of money from when I was OTR. When I was an OTR trucker, I saved a lot of money, and much of that money, some of it was used to do the down payment of my house, some of it was used to do, well, actually that's not true, some of it was used to do renovations of doubled their fees out of nowhere. Boom. From $4,400 to like $8,000 something. And that has significantly raised the barrier for me to become a real estate appraiser. It's changed the equation. It's changed the calculus. The thing about real estate appraisal is the bulk of the demand comes from home purchases, and it comes from home refinances. There are other places where demand comes from too, but that's most of it. And that refinancing activity and home buying activity have been at an all-time low. Like a 30-year low. And the appraisal industry, along with everything else in real estate, has just been absolutely butchered by this. And we can talk about why. Like, I don't have time to, and you're probably not interested in hearing that anyway. So, suffice to say, things have been very slow for appraisals. When I started this journey, and I took a home daily job and came back home, I hoped that things would pick up and get better, and that this is a cyclical thing. But it hasn't. It continues to be bad. And I've had my ear to the ground, and I've been paying attention to what's been going on in the world of real estate appraisal. There just hasn't been any excitement about it on social media from appraisers. I think everyone's kind of admitting that it's not going too well. A lot of people in the Facebook groups, a lot of the new appraisers in the Facebook groups, we're talking about how to get those 1,000 hours of experience to get the license. It's been taking like 3 years to get, just because their supervising appraiser doesn't have any work for them. Which has led to it taking about like 3+ years for them to get the requirement. And then when they do get it, a lot of them were saying, well, this will just be a side hustle. There's not really enough volume right now, so it'll just be a side hustle. And when I read that might have been the one thing that made me decide that I cannot get into this profession. Why would you put all that work, 150 hours of qualifying education, 1,000+ hours of assumedly unpaid experience, over the course of 3 years for a side hustle? Excuse me. That doesn't sound like a very good deal to me. Another thing that really influenced my decision was watching the YouTube channel David Tran, I think his name is. I've mentioned him before. David Tran is a guy who was up in Oregon who was getting into real estate appraisal. And he was documenting his journey on YouTube. And I was keenly interested in his journey, because I felt that my journey would look an awful lot like his. And he kind of let it slip in a video that he made last year that his first year as a licensed residential appraiser, which was 2023, he made $56,000. And I know that was his first year, but with the way things are going, there's no reason for me to think I'm going to make more than that. And at $56,000, that's as a 1099. That's with no health care benefits. That's with no half and half contribution from your employer to payroll taxes. You got to pay all the payroll tax. So that's you know, a full 15% tax for Social Security, and then yet more for Medicare and Medicaid. Or I'm sorry, like the full, whatever it is, you have to pay the full thing. Where as a W-2, you only have to pay half. That is $56,000 as a 1099. That is a bad deal. Like I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do all this work. Even the most positive types were not enthusiastic about it. So I could complain to you about the appraisal industry even more. What I can see that doesn't seem to be working. You know, the old people, the guys in their late 50s and 60s that don't want to fucking retire. And they just want to sit there and make as much money as they possibly can. And that results in younger people, I'm not that young, but that results in younger people and newer people basically not getting a fucking chance. I could sit here and complain about that. But I don't even know, because I never got into appraisal. And by the way things are going, I probably never will. So I'll refrain from doing that for your benefit. And I've decided I had to go back to the drawing board, and I have gone back to the drawing board, and I've found something else that I think I can do, and that's going to be insurance adjusting. Which there is quite a bit of excitement about, and it seems exciting, and it seems like an adventure, and it seems like something I could have a comparable amount of aptitude for. That could really, really, really be a fantastic career for me. Yeah, they're saying, oh, you know, this business might not be for you if you don't like having to be away from home for extended periods of time. This business, insurance adjusting, might not be for you if you can't handle being away from home and sleeping in a hotel every night. Ha, bitch! If only I could be away from home and sleep at a hotel every night. I'm a trucker. Bro, I'm used to being at home, away from home for extended periods of time, and sleeping in the bunk of a truck. Bitch! What you talking about? Of course I could do that. If that's the worst part of independent insurance adjusting, count me in. Being away on catastrophic deployment for a few months. Hey, at least after a few months of being away, I can go back home for a while. In trucking, you got to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, and then you get a couple of days back home, and you got to go right back out. You're telling me I got to be away for a few months on a catastrophic deployment? When I come back, I can stay home for the rest of the year? I could be at home 8 months of the year? As an OTR trucker, I'd be away from home 0 months of the year. But I'm digressing. I'm spinning off the rails. I think I can do it. And I'm excited about it, if you haven't noticed. And there's really good money in it for those who are, because if you're running your own business, and I'm not going to get into the numbers because I don't know, I'm not making the money, so I'm not going to say, oh, I'm gonna make six figures. I'm gonna make $150,000. Because I don't know, and I mean, it would just be a bunch of hot air, just be a bunch of talk. But I am actually excited by this, and I've been doing the coursework. The coursework is, instead of 150 hours of qualifying education, I only need 40 hours of qualifying education to get my all lines property and casualty insurance adjuster's license in the great state of Texas. That's it. And I'll need, I'm aware I need a lot of other licenses, but Texas has reciprocity in most other states, so it's Gucci. And I'll need more training. I know. And I'll get it, because I've got the money to do it. That's why I sacrificed out there as an OTR driver for 4 or 5 years, so that I could have the money to do something like this to change my life. And I was excited about real estate appraisal when I started qualifying education for that, and I'm excited about this. And I hate to have to change my plans kind of mid-swing, but it's better to change plans mid-swing and admit your losses and admit that this is sunk cost, admit that some plan is not going to work out in the middle of it and alter course, than it would be for me to actually put in years and years of time to become an appraiser, or tens of thousands of dollars to become a real estate appraiser, to get to some point where, we've only got enough work around here to really just give you a side hustle. Fuck that. No. I want to escape from trucking, and I don't want just a side hustle. I gotta get out of here, because I can't make it work locally as a local trucker around here. I just can't. I mean, I'm doing okay in this job, don't get me wrong, but the third shift stuff is just driving me. I can't do it long term. I've been doing it now for 3 years, and I don't see myself doing it for another 3 years. I don't even see myself doing it for another 1 year. Got to find a solution. And so in so many words, I've changed plans, okay? And that's what we're going to be doing from here on out. So anyway, thanks for listening to me tonight. I'll see you around.